Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, The Shadow and the Blade. The intro feels longer every single time I do it. So we got a lot of work to do here today. Let's just get right into it. First of all, obviously, we must crush these men at Lyonesse. How dare they think they can come back in here and just take back what is theirs? They're very confused. It is obviously mine. So there's not a lot of strategy to apply here. This should be a pretty straightforward battle. Our guy is not... Our assassin is not immortal yet, I believe. He's got to be close, though. So really all there is to this is make sure the assassin doesn't die, and that should be fairly straightforward. Aside from that, we're going to absolutely crush him. Part of the problem that Bretonnia has with defense is these cavalry-heavy compositions. And, cavalry is not a huge percentage of this total army, but it is a huge percentage of this total army's power, right? Because this caster here is not going to be able to actually fight us very much. A single unit of competent melee, a unit of maybe the worst melee in the game, the Grail Reliquary, this is the dead guy being run around on a rail, he's not going to contribute anything. So they're going to have, a bunch of half-dead units in the garrison, because the garrison was just reformed, and also that tiny, tiny army. It's tough. It's tough to be Bretonnian on this map. I feel sort of bad for them. So we don't want to group up too tightly because we do know they have a trebuchet, but I also don't want to be taking fire from more than one tower if we can avoid it. We definitely want the clan rats in front so that they can absorb tower fire with their shields. I believe the shields do reduce the amount of damage that the tower fire deals. They still take, a huge amount of damage from it. And also, we know there are going to be archers on the walls and everything. Alright, everybody just kind of move up in vaguely this arrangement, and we'll figure everything else out later, except for the catapults, which should probably stop here, maybe even back here. Just want to make sure that we're not inside the tower firing arc. So we'll have the clan rats go up the wall first. Have you guys do this thing. We want the clan rats with the swords getting priority on the approach. Do we have those? Okay, we do have one more. Oh, these are the guys with the fire swords too. Okay, so we've got the wall booked there, and the rest of you can just kind of get over here and be ready. Gun teams probably shouldn't actually advance all that far. Again, we don't want to group up too tightly because trebuchet, but we do need to make sure we're not getting towered. And the triads will not go up the wall first. We'll try to do a follow-up with them. Oh, right, we have 2 units of Doomflayers who should absolutely not be over there. My own cavalry, who are functionally useless in a siege battle. And then, of course, Ikit Claw can pump some more magic into the pool. So yeah, you can see all of these horribly damaged units from the low health garrison. Do they have... Yeah, they do have their trebuchets guarded. If we were to summon a unit of clan rats on the trebuchets right now, the hippogriffs would cause them to break almost instantly. It's really not even worth doing. We'll just remember that we have access to that. And we're definitely not using the Doom rocket here. You guys gotta get out of tower range. Oh yeah, we have an assassin too. Our assassin should definitely get up on the wall. He can do some good work up there. Alright, let's dig in with the AoE damage. First of all, this seems great. Let's see, they're doing some casting of their own. Here comes the trebuchet fire. Incredibly accurate. Really upsettingly accurate. Unfortunately, there's not much for it. We just kind of have to get in here and take the wall. We're going to take a lot of trebuchet damage over the course of this battle. We could have... We can have some people climbing the other side of the gate, I suppose. Let's try to fan out our troops a little bit, get more functional surface area, and also less for the trebuchet to shoot at. And of course, we are going to keep pumping that overcharged warp lightning, because what an incredible spell. I think probably our gunners are not accomplishing very much here, but it sure does look scary, right? I'm not 100% sure how the morale modifiers work for being shot at by an enemy unit. It might be the case that they are able to inflict that morale penalty without actually dealing any damage. It might be enough that they're just shooting in the direction of the enemy units. Alright, let's get our assassin over here and help clean up the wall. We could run Ikit Claw up on the wall as well. Let's do it here. My plan here is just to quickly drive out all the guys on the wall, then jump down, open the gates, run through, you know. We don't have enough ranged in this army that are capable of climbing walls for getting up on the wall and shooting at the cavalry to be any kind of viable strategy. So we're just going to have to claim the wall and then go down there with our spears. Which is fine. We can absolutely do that. Given enemy density, probably it's worth dropping another charge of brass orb up here. And then we probably saved the third one for cavalry. I feel so bad for these guys. What a terrible fight. Now, I might hit Pestilich a little bit there with all the evil lightning. Whatever, he's fine. At this point, he must have been hit by lightning a couple of times, right? He's got to be getting used to it. Alright, let's fan the gun teams out a little bit. Again, this is largely about reducing damage from the trebuchet. Yeah, the fact that all of their characters are on horseback means that they can't even commit any of their characters to the fight on the wall. Ooh, you guys should spread out a little bit, get away from that AoE effect. So this is a Beastcaster thing. It's a flock of angry magical crows. It does a small amount of damage, but it does it to each figure in the area. So it's actually very, very effective against Skaven-type forces, where you get to do the amount of damage that spell does, you know, 200 or 300 times some of the time. One of the units of archers turn back around. You know, he's considering fleeing. Okay, where do we have clan rats with spears? We need those guys to lead the charge down onto the ground. And then we'll have the Eshin Triads fall in behind them. I don't want the Triads getting attacked directly by cavalry. Whoa, whoa, what is happening with the camera right now? What was that? Did we somehow cause an earthquake? Look at them flee at the sight of a couple of rats. Well, they're not all going to make it away. Yeah, then they're going to get trapped. And then we have the Eshin Triads get down on the ground and try to hit them from the side. And while they're all stacked up like this, and brass orb them right here. God, I love wizards. Yo, guys, what on earth are you doing? That is just friendly fire. God, I love how fast the Eshin Triads are. Alright, fall in on these dudes. Everybody get down here. Yeah, this is a situation where I really wish I had another Warp Lightning. Actually, it's a pretty good time to summon up some clan rats. Can make their lives very difficult. Also, their lord is down there and he's gotten involved, so let's get Pestilich on the job. Wow. These catapults are remarkably accurately going after the Grail Reliquae. Alright, get him. He's a pretty big target. Unfortunately, it's going to be hard to see what's going on here with all of the beams of light. But yeah, between him being mired entirely in spears and the assassin's trophy skill being on him, I have to imagine we're going to get this pretty quickly. A little bit of catapult fire is maybe not a great idea at this moment. Okay, who else is up on that wall? You guys get down here. You guys get into the capture zone for this gate, because we don't entirely have the gate under control yet. I know it looks open, but you know how buggy this thing is. I would really like to get my gun teams through so that we can be ready for their hippogriffs when they come in. Or, oh, you're the Great Vortex. That's not even a real unit. I'm not afraid of you. Okay, he's getting the job done. Adelhard the Devoted is just not... He's not ready for being murdered by this many enemies all at once. So there's a Great Vortex, a very small number of Grail Knights remaining. I mean, this fight is over. Okay, the gate is ours. Get gunners and Ikit. And I guess the Doomflayers can come through now and can flank the horses. Get in there and make something terrible happen. We should probably run the Warp Lightning Cannons in too. Are they actually... Oh, the Warp Lightning Cannon's able to get a shot from where it is. I'm pretty surprised by that. Well, then never mind. I will not move them. They're doing a fine job right where they are. Let's keep that up. Also, it looks like you forgot what you were doing. He ran off to murder other random horsemen. I mean, he's got to have this under control, right? With his very high upgraded stats and the debuff from the Assassin's Trophy, yeah, he's going to tear that guy apart in no time. So we need a unit of spears to get in here and cover the gunners in case those hippogriffs come in here. But actually, the Warp Lightning Cannons are doing an okay job. Some of those shots are even hitting. Alright, Enemy Lord is dead. The Grail Reliquae don't actually have any ability to fight, so they'll be dead in a second here too. And then... how are we going to shoot these guys with our guns? They position themselves in kind of an awkward way for us. What's the angle look like from over here? Oh, it's better. Okay. Then I think my plan is gun teams to here. Doomflayers in defensive positions, and we're going to need spears. Ikit Claw should definitely get over here as well. Try to be ready to drop a Warp Storm on them. Yep, just freeze those guys in place the moment you can do it. Alright, there we are. Whoever's got shots, take your shots. I don't know how easy they're going to be to hit for our ranged units because like the buildings are going to be blocking line of fire. The catapults are just shooting them out of the sky. Let's keep some spears nearby. Yeah, this is a relatively smart move on their part. Trying to interrupt us during our movement. That's why it was important to keep some spears nearby. Catapults! Terrible, terrible job. Really bad. Please do not fire at Will. Will has taken enough friendly fire damage. Yeah, that's a pretty good Storm of Crows as well. Where's that caster? It's up here with their final unit of Grail Knights. I think they've done some good stuff here. Here at the end, they've made some intelligent moves. Too little, too late. But it's not a bad idea. Alright, you guys get back on this. We're going to have to cut down that unit of Grail Knights before we can even do any damage to these other guys. To be perfectly honest, we can have a lot of our units just run forward. Lightning cannons, do your absolute best. How many hippogriffs are left? Like 3? It probably will not take very much Warp Lightning to convince them to leave the field permanently. You guys got it, or? I mean, I know it's tough. They're moving around a lot. Okay, that's some pretty questionable shooting. Charge them. I do think 2 hippogriffs is probably capable of defeating that unit of clan rats, by the way. So we do need to provide them some assistance. Okay, this is working out the way I had hoped it would work out. You guys can stay back. I think it's under control. Okay. Yeah, I really, really like this like combination of of warp lightning and catapults and gunfire. Skaven are a cool army. They are a cool, fun army. Horribly evil. Just monstrously horribly evil, but cool and fun. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to end Ikiclaw's turn here, because he's got to resettle the city, which means that he can't get Musalam back until next turn, which means he can't be on the way back to the other front until the turn after that. Which is an annoyance, to be sure. Okay, yet another of the Bisets down. That poor family. And you can start taking upkeep reduction. Hooray! At some point, his army is going to be, hopefully, like, full of vermin, storm vermin and stuff, so... and that gets us level 20. Hooray. Now, we can afford to be much more aggressive with Pestilich during battles, since he is no longer a resource that can be permanently lost. Repair the port. Damn, Bretonians don't know anything about how to keep a port running. And then I'm going to have you continue to creep forward, because I want to know where that army went. So here's Vashnar. Looks like he just won a battle, probably. I'm assuming that the reason his army is in that state but still alive is that he killed, what's-his-face? I can't remember what the... Luan Leoncoeur. So that bodes pretty poorly for Bretonia. Does that mean Bretonia has no armies left? It does, in fact. They are currently completely broke. Well, let's rampage then, shall we? So it does not take 2 of our armies to attack Blackstone Post. We could send somebody over to Fort Bergbrez. 2 field trebuchets, a bunch of Pegasus Knights. Yo, this is non-trivial. You know what? We'll just leave that. It looks like it doesn't have enough building slots to allow for recruitment. So they can hold the fort, but they can't use it to rebuild their armies. We can just leave them in control of it. Alright, let's have Bilefitch. He was going to pass off some of these units. I mean, probably he should pass off all of this stuff, right? Do we want to just trade out the 6 units of Night Runners straight up? We want to keep some clan rats in the army just to, like, keep them... to have the ability to control the movement of enemies within our lines to some degree. So I don't want to replace those straight up with Eshin Triads, who are not nearly as tough. Much more of a backstabber type unit. I think we'll just do this.
Batteries need recharge.
So Vomik's army is good and powerful and should be able to take out this thing by itself pretty easily. And then we can have Bilefitch just move forward and start... Oh, we don't even have to do it manually. That's nice. Nice that they don't make me do that. Which one is the poison? Yeah, we want to give the bonus speed to the poison unit. Alright. So let's just knock that out real fast. Obviously, we will occupy that. So that's one of our undercities there that we just overwrote, which is going to reduce the amount of food that we're paying out per turn. Probably we can't afford to keep this on iron. We're going to need that to be a growth building for sure. And Bilefitch... We could try to go to Grungzint. We could underway move over to Grungzint. But I think I'm going to maybe go southward instead. Why are you... Huh. Why are you so out of movement? I don't know. Apparently that's all we can do with him. Did we pass him troops who were really out of movement? Alright, and then there's a plague that we ought to spread somewhere. I don't know. We'll probably go and dump this plague into the Empire. I don't know exactly what we'll do with it. And, okay, Vomik gets to take an extended redline skill for the first time. He is level 16. I can't wait until he hits immortality. I'm really nervous about losing characters in the high teens. So... melee attack, missile resistance, and leadership for very basic melee units. Range, leadership, and speed up for death runners, for runners and triads. This is good, but do we have any gold rank units in this army? Yeah, I mean, we have the Regiments of Renown, of course. These gutter runners aren't too far off. So I guess that's... Or we could take Warp Smart because we have some rank 9 Regiment of Renown gun units. So missile damage up. Yeah, we'll take Warp Smart. I think currently we have the most units to benefit from this. And then we can, obviously we want to fill out this whole box, because all of these skills are great, but they're not great until your units are trained enough. And then we have 10,000 gold. So how do we solve a problem like having 10,000 gold? Well, where do we need upgrades still? You could probably, in Aquitaine, what do we want to build here? And we could just build a money building. Oh, we should probably build a Taskmaster's platform, huh? It's going to take a while for this area to be really under control. How's Castle Carcassonne doing? Okay, we're fine here. It's okay. With 9,400 gold, I feel like we need to be looking around here. We did finish the Council Chamber of the 13, which is very helpful. And then do we want to be saving up for... Maybe not. And we probably want to build that eventually. Did we ever finish the warp thing here? The warpstone reactor? We did. Well, probably we ought to upgrade the warpstone reactor in Skavenblight then, right? That's going to be a fair source of additional money. And in Roliano, we can... As we could build a warpstone reactor here, actually. This region is producing a fair amount of money. Also, we definitely don't need to be in growth mode anymore, so how about... We're actually already okay on public order. Maybe what we want is food generation? Yeah. That adds Skaven corruption as well, and Skaven corruption does reduce public order for us. Even though it is our corruption type, just because, you know, Skaven, they're unruly. So if we need to, we still have the ability to upgrade the bell to fix public order problems that we might create. We probably want arcane generators here as well, but we can't quite afford to do that at the moment. I think we can probably just remove the nest nursery. I keep looking at this and going, hey, we should remove this, and then remembering that it generates money. So never mind. We'll keep it, I guess. Does Magritta have anything it could build that generates cash? Not really. Could put up another recruitment structure? That's actually probably not a bad idea. If we get into trouble down here, we'll want to be able to recruit good units. Okay, I think that's a fair set of things to set up for the turn. You guys feeling like trading yet? But it's such a good offer, man. How about if we also throw in some military access? How about if we also throw in 687 gold? I'll do it. I'm that kind of madman. Well, that's a real shame. We're close. We're close. And I've got to imagine our popularity with them has got to be trending upward. A lot of common enemies in the area. We're never going to be able to trade with any of these factions.
Yes. Do not presume.
The Dark Elves might go for some stuff here, actually. I wasn't really thinking about that. But I guess, yeah, they have no love for the Bretonnians. Okay, cool. I'll make friends with some Dark Elves if they'll pay me.
Make haste. I have rights.
Apparently not all the Dark Elves. Alright, hopefully we'll be able to get trade going with them sometime in the near future. Why doesn't Nagarond like me? Because they don't care about any of the people that I'm fighting. Fair enough. It's weird that only some of the Dark Elf nations have a problem with Bretonnia. And then we may as well upgrade that. So sadly, still only one warp fuel. Does it feel like we got warp fuel a lot faster in the first iteration of this game to anybody else? Well, this is going to be a declaration. Okay, well, I mean, fine. Hard to imagine the Order of the Lore Masters actually sending any troops over to us.
Make this quick.
I will not. I will not break a trade agreement. Not that I, like, care about the sanctity of treaties or anything, don't be ridiculous, but I do care about the sanctity of me making a lot of money. Maybe one of the most sacred things in our society is us making a lot of money. Looks like the World Walkers are feeling powerful.
Pain.
Ooh, wow. Trending toward negative 409. I think that might be the largest negative value I've ever seen. No, absolutely not. Obviously, we're going to exterminate you. Even if I didn't have to in order to win the game, I still would want to. But also, I'm pretty sure we do have to in order to win the game. Alright, so all the Norskins are under one banner now. That's a real bad thing for people in some parts of the world. And we're getting very close to plans within plans. We need a plague abbey, though. Which should be a thing we can set up. So we still need to get ingenious plans, hallucinogenics, and record effective recipes. Let's talk about a plague abbey. We have a pestilent knave already, right? Yeah. So it's a matter of putting together 8,100 gold. We can do that. My guess is that we can't do it this turn. Even with all the money we'll make off of conquering, we're probably gonna have to wait till next turn. Let's finish augmenting your weapon, I suppose. Not that I think you're gonna get involved in a lot of melee combat, but sometimes we have to improvise. Carrick Ziflin is very slightly better defended. But I think we really are just gonna be able to run roughshod over these guys. Actually, you don't hold on. We should definitely have these guys serving as reinforcements, because we need Bilefitch to level up, right? So let's have him approach from this side. And that way he can threaten Montfort afterward. Okay, he is in range. I appreciate them not making me have to play out all of the easy siege battles one by one. Cool, a Dragonbane gem. There's not enough fire damage in the game for stuff like that to feel very significant. Alright, I guess we'll stay right here and replenish a little bit. Erat doesn't really have a ton of value to do. Is Helmgart also just a tiny fort? Yeah, okay. So we don't have to worry about that. So how many real settlements do the Bretonnians have left? There's Grungzint. There's this up here in the wasteland. But that might be it, actually. We are very close to having completely removed their ability to buy units. Probably what we should do is send Erat up and have him check out Grungzint. And then, while he's over here, he can mess with the Empire, potentially. So how are we doing on food? We are still negative 18 from our Under Empire, negative 19 from settlements. Yeah, it's not going to be easy to get that food value positive, but we are going to continue trying. When can we summon our next Doom Engineer? Okay, 3 more turns. So I think with the next Doom Engineer, we're going to go and try to install an Undercity over here in Vampire Town. I kind of forgot about the vampires while I was looking at our objectives while I was prepping the recording. I realized we do have to wipe out the main vampire faction, and we have to spread a considerable amount of Skaven corruption to their lands, so we got to start looking eastward here. Let's finish the well, hold on. I'm not going to spend any unnecessary money this turn. We're going to have you march down here and grab Musalon, which should be 1000% trivial. Can't believe this one unit of clan rats is regenerating so slowly. Okay, actually, that's enough money, right? We needed 8,100. I don't know how long it's going to take to build that. Okay, 5 turns. So we will have the building done before we need it for the tech. And then at this point, we can probably swap over to food production. I think we're going to be doing that in a lot of places. Yeah, we're really solid on public order here, so we're going to try really hard to get to a place of having enough food. Here, I think we still... Yeah, we still want the growth commandment for a little bit longer. Just a little while. This is a little awkward because we need to hold on to Quinnell because that's where our pasture is, but we obviously don't want to take Paravon because I want him to be successful in life. So I guess we're just going to have a real weak settlement there. Whatever, it's providing food. It's fine. We definitely don't want to stop doing growth in Bordello until it is set, because I want to get the want to make sure we get to upgrade Bordello's port all the way, what with it being special and everything. We've got the cost of his army down. We're over 6k per turn. Yeah, this is coming along. Probably repair the dock at Musalon. And then Ikiklam might jump out and grab that skull reef before he reports to the front, because it looks like things are pretty much under control over here. So we will probably be ready to attack the Empire before we actually have the technology that makes the Vermintide building spawn storm vermin. But maybe we'll go and try to fight the elves first. We do have to deal with that elf problem still. There's still a bunch of wood elves at war with us. A defensive alliance with Norska. Does this benefit me at all? I think the answer is no. But I guess defensive ally with these guys means that if any of the elf nations declare war on us, the Norskins are potentially a threat to Ulthuan. Actually, you know what? I think this is in our best interest. I wonder if the Dark Elves have any feelings about the Norskins, because their territory almost touches up at the top of the map. One has to imagine that some raiding occurs. Well, whatever. We don't need the Dark Elves to be our best friends. We just need them to want to trade with us. So I believe there are now only 2 Wood Elf factions left in that forest. The little ones have all conglommed into the big ones. That's a fair amount of extra money. Alright. It turns out continuing to conquer stuff is good for you. Not like morally speaking, but, you know. Alright, hallucinogenics, which does effectively nothing. Followed by, who knows how long this is going to take to research. This is going to be, I'm sure, a single turn. And then ultimate experiments is also maybe going to be a bunch of turns. We still might be kind of far away. Alright, Montfort also doesn't really have a garrison. It's probably about the last place that they can put together a decent army. And just like before, let's make sure that we are getting Bilefitch some XP. Yeah, we are actually building up a fair amount of food. I don't know how easy it's going to be to maintain that momentum, but it is nice momentum to have. Also, holy crap, we're rich. So I guess let's keep just taking map action stuff here. So if I were the Bretonnians, Grungzint is where I would be building up my army, because they have to know that they're going to lose all those other settlements before they can finish building up, right? You are headed, in general, to Human Land. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab the reef, and then we'll get back to it. I imagine we're going to have to fight somebody for the treasure? Yeah. Let us raid the cove. I do not fear these pirates. Ooh. This looks dangerous. So they have a bunch of Depth Guard. Depth Guard are actually pretty scary units. They are not super healthy. Like they don't have a ton of HP, but they do have this hunger, which causes them to constantly heal as long as they're engaged in melee. So they're a little bit hardier than they look. They're well armored. Most of this army's kind of garbage, but based on this meter here, I think it behooves us to do this manually. Let's go ahead and pull in some Menace Below charges. I don't want to lose this battle in a stupid way. We may as well go for the full 5, because we're going to get a bunch of food off of them anyway. Alright, I am not too concerned. I think the balance of power bar is erroneous. I think they've goofed it here. We do have to be wary of their siege gear. They have a unit of mortars, which is very powerful, but very inaccurate, and also some cannons, which are not, I think, going to be terribly effective against us. I mean, like, infantry don't like being shot at with cannons, but cannons are most effective as like anti-monster weapons, and we don't have any of that sort of thing in our army. The other thing from them that we really need to watch out for is their monster. They have this giant awesome crab beast with a shell that's made out of half of a pirate ship, because this army is the best one. This is just the best army in the whole game. That's going to be a little bit of a problem for us. We have a bunch of spears. The Eshin Triads should be pretty good at dealing with it. And then, of course, we can shoot it a lot. Monsters are very vulnerable to gunfire. My guess is that they will not work particularly hard to defend their siege equipment. So probably we're going to be able to menace below them pretty easily. Where do we want to set up? Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's any place on this map that the Warp Lightning Cannons are going to have much of a shot. I guess we can get up here. So they should have... Yeah, that's a decent firing arc. It doesn't let me shoot right away, which is a little bit of a concern. How about a little more like this? Yeah, there we go. We'll have the Warp Lightning Cannons up here, and we'll roll them into position there. That way, when the enemies come over the hill, we can start firing immediately. And then the rest of us just go in this area over here. Again, we want to be a little cautious about grouping because of the mortars. I'm not going to be too cautious about grouping in setup, but we're going to fan out quickly after setup. There's going to be a little bit of an element of luck here in whether or not the mortars are actually able to deal damage to us, because mortars, their mortar unit is very inaccurate. So even if we are stacked up in a way that's not very good, there's a reasonable chance that we will not take major damage. Alright, we'll just spread rats out. Maybe not that far up, but... Eshin Triads can stay behind. And then, let's see. I want to put the Jezzails over here. I might have to redesign our melee a little bit. Jezzails here. Is that right? The terrain's not super even. This is the golden spot right here, I think. This has a nice view. So I want to make sure that the Rattling guns have that view. We can maybe put the Jezzails around them like this. So obviously it's important for the Jezzails to have a shot as well. Maybe even spread out a little bit more. Okay, and that's going to mean these guys kind of have to move. We'll worry about that once they get into position, because I don't remember which units are which. But the flamethrowers just kind of over here somewhere. Doomflayers roll up this way. Okay, I think we're good. We'll do our standard activation of all of our wind gainers at the very beginning here. We seem to have lost vision of some of the enemies. But you know what'll grant us vision is me spawning rats underneath some of them. Obviously go into guard mode, don't chase anybody. We're doing okay damage to that siege crew pretty much immediately. Also, missing them isn't so bad. There's a lot of hostile infantry nearby. Ah, we have uncovered hidden foes. They're depth guard in the forest. Oof. It's tough. That's a good hit from those mortars. They're also just rolling their cannons right up to us for some reason. Okay, so these guys are undead, which means that they will never break when their morale falters. That means that the magic binding them has weakened, and so they will start to disintegrate, but they will never run away from us, remember. It's very important. Let's have these units of spears change their formation a little bit. Just want to open up a hole for the various gun teams to shoot through. You guys probably want to tighten up a little bit so you're not in the way. Okay, we got a unit of depth guard chasing us here. My plan is to wing around the back and attack some of these gun units. We are relatively heavily armored, and their guns are not super good against armor, so we should be able to get something done on this front. Okay, those guys are done for. Here comes the big scary crab. They're being also pursued by... The polearm depth guard are actually really good at fighting armored enemies, especially large armored enemies, so we have to be careful of them. There's that gunfire we were hoping for. We probably ought to change targets to this guy. I like the thing where we're killing their siege troops. We could actually probably... Here, I'm going to have these units move up. We can probably just summon clan rats on them at this point. If they want to turn some of their melee around to break this up, that's actually very good for us. And let's have all of you guys get that running Leviathan. Don't chase him. Just shoot at him right now. Again, don't chase. And I'm content to allow the catapult to continue picking its own targets. It's doing a fine job. Okay, definitely not a Doom Rocket mission. Probably doesn't make sense to try to cast a spell on the approach or anything here. Okay, that's going to make things real difficult for them. The Leviathan there is very heavily armored, so it's going to take a lot of gunfire to do the job. Gonna burn those guys down real fast. Alright, you need to keep moving. We do not want to get caught by those polearms. Got a good charge off, though. Alright, you guys continue to flee. Is the crab down? The crab is down. It did break the lines, but we're fine. Right, get in there and help them out. We may as well just charge at their gun units. This over here is a unit of deckhands. These guys are probably about comparable to our clan rats in melee. We don't have to worry too much about them. I'm going to summon clan rats over here. Keep these guys in place. We haven't quite managed to solve the depth guard problem. This is probably a place where some lightning and stuff would be very helpful. Keep running. Don't fight depth guard. Sweep in and get those guys. Alright, it looks like we are winning pretty thoroughly in most places. Let's have the Eshin get over here. My units are cowards. Those depth guard are actually relatively fast. We really need to keep moving to stay off of them. Or to keep them off of us, rather. I should probably just command group those guys so that I can select them at a moment's notice, because it seems like a thing we have to do a lot. Alright, you guys managed to not flee off the map, which I really appreciate. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Change my mind. come back this way. We're going to have them, like, sweep around. And this might be a good time, actually, for an upgraded Death Frenzy. Our units are having a little bit of trouble getting the job done here, so we can try to help them seal it up. Also, speaking of upgraded spells, this should slow their advance slightly. Actually, they slowed their own advance to prevent it from doing anything. It's a very clever maneuver. Okay, so we gotta reassign some bodies here. You guys, oh, you're in a surrender state. That's why I can't select you. You guys do that. Have these guys come over here. It looks like the carronade, somehow there are still units in the carronade alive, and they might have gone back to the cannons. That's a problem. Don't let them do that. We don't have enough winds of magic to do an overcast. I think I'll just drop a normal lightning bolt here. We're having a little bit more trouble actually getting the kills here than I thought we were going to. Pestalik, she's going to have to step up and engage in some melee combat here. Actually, it's probably true of Ikit as well. Apparently he just didn't cast that spell I told him to cast. Oh, that's fine. Cast it over here then. Alright, kill the Doomflayer. Get them. Okay. Ikit Claw is actually a very good fighter. He is getting the job done. There we go. Their whole army is starting to crack. Hey, everybody. Kill that zombie pirate. This is my favorite scene from Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, yeah, that was a little closer than I thought it was going to be. I don't think it's fair to call it a close victory when we killed 3 times as many of them as they killed of us, and none of our units are... Well, okay, a couple of our units are below half. But that is going to be a considerable amount of money. First of all, from the battle itself, because Depth Guard are fairly high-value units, and then secondly, from the reward for fighting the battle. I don't even know what we're going to do with all of it. Frankly, I'm not sure we have stuff to pour this much immediate cash into. We've gotten a lot of our expensive building upgrades out of the way. I'm sure we'll find something to do with it. It would be a good idea for us to have a little bit of a nest egg built up, because we're planning to spawn a large, probably quite expensive army at some point in the not too distant future. Let's take them as food and leadership. Okay, we got back 12 food. We spent 15 and got back 12. Got ourselves a Talisman of Endurance, which is great, and also 20,000 additional gold. Let's sail hard back to friendly seas. Okay, his army is very slowly getting cheaper. So now what do we do with you? I guess, yeah, melee defense probably is the next most sensible thing. I don't know if he'll ever get to a place where we can have him just wade into a troop, wade into like a group of enemy infantry that isn't absolutely terrible and just like take over. But we do want him to be able to at least stand in a battle with elite infantry, because we're in the part of the game where elite infantry are going to be common. The Warlock Engineer, Balequint Marsqueak, doesn't spend all that much time like right in with the melee, so I don't know that Overseer is going to be all that helpful. You can make him resistant to missiles or magic. Honestly, still not... At this point, maybe, even though boost income is not very good for him, maybe it's the best thing we have available. I think it's kind of... He's kind of out of good skill points, unfortunately. He's almost hit the level cap, so I guess it's not a huge surprise. And once you've taken one skill in this box, you can grab Stand or Die. Gives us a clicky cooldown to give a massive amount of melee defense and leadership to nearby friends. Very useful ability. Bilefitch has managed to push up into the second box here, so we do still need to get Flensing Ruin on Ikit. We haven't bothered to do that yet. You know what, let's pick that up first here, because I find myself not using Crack's Call as often as I thought I would, just because of the fact that the Warp Lightning is so effective. So what do we want you guys to do now? Helmgart is a possibility, but not a necessity. And we're kind of out of Bretonnian stuff to fight. We could turn our eyes toward the Waterfall Palace. And something's got to be done about that, right? And then we're going to have to fight a huge, terrifying elf faction. How do you guys feel about those elves? I know we got in trouble with Vashnar for fighting elves earlier. But the thing is, he's going to have to come around on this with me. Okay, we got our trade agreement up. Can we do military access? Can we do military access with a little bit of gold behind it? I'll go as high as 1,500. How about that? That should be pretty significant. Okay, he's probably just not going to give it to us. We're still trending upward. We'll get it in time. So without a military access agreement, we can't move to the Waterfall Palace without upsetting him, and I don't really want to do that. So maybe we redirect the armies northward? Start looking at Grunzint? And the elves are going to be a problem, and they're going to be a problem soon. Maybe the right play is just move up to the border here and prepare to use underway movement to get into the forest. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Warlock ready. I say move.
We will be respectful of his territory for the moment. Let's get proper walls around here. And then 30,000 gold. Let's just go down the list. In Baston, we're doing everything we can. In Bordelot, could take an upgrade to this bell, and probably should. And then do we want to upgrade the growth buildings? Probably, because they gain 40 gold per upgrade level. It's not just growth, it's also income. Oh wait, sorry, I was going down the list carefully. Here, we definitely want to upgrade the port. We also do need to upgrade this bell. And then we should upgrade other stuff. Yeah, I think this is all reasonable. Make our trade contracts even more valuable. We got to talk to the Dark Elves. In Quran, we're doing what we can. In Estalia, I don't know that we need these upgrades, but we'll do that. Up in the forest, we definitely have a bunch of stuff to do. Let's get walls going. I'm not going to upgrade Castle Artois because I want to get Gisaru walled up. So we'll save population for that. In Lyonesse, yeah, Mousselon should get upgraded for sure. Asif Orkal is fine. We can do this, though. Down in Skavenblight, any upgrade we want to pursue is going to be massively expensive, so we'll worry about it later. In Tilia, things are fine. We have all of the cheap green buildings. We could upgrade this one, though. In the Northern Grey Mountains, we should repair this Rattling Warren for sure. And probably build another one in Blackstone. And then in Paravon, I mean, there's no reason not to upgrade this thing, right? Okay, we did manage to find a way to get through it. Can you believe it? Yeah, no, we don't want to do that thing. And actually, we didn't even look at any of our under empires, so there might have been other things that we still needed to upgrade. It's expensive to run an empire of this size. So we can't actually stop Bretonnia from building reinforcements until we push north into the wasteland north of Marienburg and take that settlement away from them, which I don't know that we want to do at the moment. So I'm thinking maybe it is in fact time to take peace from them. We have to wipe them out to win the game, but we don't have to wipe them out right this second. We should probably solidify our position and prepare to deal with the Wood Elves and the Empire. Oh look, another Bisset. Those guys are from Stirland, I think? It's one of the Eastern Empire provinces right next to Vampire Town. We're not at war with Stirland, are we? Hold on, we'll look. I'm not 100% sure what our deal is with the rest of the Empire. Diplomacy. And Pestilence is probably not going to be willing to get the non-aggression pact going again. Yeah. Ah well, you can't trust a Skaven. And I would know.
Who seeks the mistress of Harganet?
No trade agreement with you.
Yes.
What about you guys? You guys like us quite a bit.
I shall not.
Well, we'll keep checking. They'll probably budge on that eventually. Alright, where are we on... Empire. We are in fact at war with Stirland. You know, it's so hard to keep them all straight. They've all declared war on us at one point or another, it feels like. We're actually really positive with some of the Wood Elves. We could probably roll in there and take down Arguelon without being harassed then. Talsin does have to die for us to win the game. So it's a thing to consider. Oh, interesting. Look at this. The Von Karsteins have no settlements. I wonder what's happening over in Vampire Town. And the Von Karsteins are not the only vampire faction, so probably what's happened is a different vampire faction has taken over. Where do we want you? I guess let's go this way. Thinking we're headed toward the elves. Now, we could take some of this 7,500 gold per turn and start turning Biofitch Stab's army into a real army. Probably the best way to do that would be to get proper recruitment buildings going somewhere along this eastern front rather than trying to ship troops in from home, but I don't know where we have the room for that. Is Corone would not be a terrible place, although it is a little bit further north than I would like. Castle Baston, maybe? It's going to take a minute for us to be ready to do that, though. We're 13 turns away from having enough growth to upgrade Massive Call to upgrade 2 more, or to unlock 2 more slots. To be perfectly honest with you, Paravon is where I would do it. If our only allies in the area weren't in Paravon. So yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about that. We could just shelter in place, fire a bunch of these guys, and go through the slow process of recruiting from home. It's not totally crazy. Yeah, I'm really not sure. We could just do it halfway. Like fire a bunch of this stuff and bring in more Eshin Triads and stuff, since those are only 2-turn recruits via global recruitment. I don't know. I'm torn. You know what? This is where we're going to call it for today, and I'm going to think about this a little bit. We need to decide whether I feel comfortable or not pushing into Athel-Loren with all of these very basic units, because the Wood Elves are very elite fighters, and I think an army made up mostly of Skaven slaves is probably not going to function as reinforcements. They're just going to get chopped up immediately when they enter battle. So, come back next time, tomorrow, to see exactly where we've landed on that plan. And we'll see you then.